So the 5 on It remix, I had just got out of jail, and I was just getting reacclimated, recording songs, moving around, fucking with niggas. And the Jed boy that I was telling y'all about, we had a little disagreements. Mm-hmm. And I told myself I wasn't doing no more business with them. So he ran me through the ringer as far as because he had me under contract. So I was kind of locked down to where I couldn't really put no music out because he was like, he got lawyers, and if I put something out, they gonna pull it off the shelf and this, that, and that, yada, yada, yada. So at the time that the 5 on It shit came about, there was a lot of people when I came home was like, get on my record, get on my record, get on my record. Like niggas looking out, you know what I mean? Niggas trying to help a nigga get back in his groove. 40 was one of the first ones. 40 was recording Dusted and Disgusted. And I remember he was like, put a verse on there. And I was like, well, I'm under this contract shit. And dude is talking about, you know, he gonna sue whoever or whatever. So 40 was like, whoa. As well he should be.
Sure.
So I sat up there and I watched him record that song, and you don't know how that felt. Like I wanted to be on this record.
Because your voice, you hear your voice on the record.
Spice was up there, and everybody was up there doing the record, and I wanted to be on this record, and I couldn't. And I had this anger.
This is at the time when everybody was in the studio together.
Yeah. I had this anger inside me because I couldn't get on this record because of this situation with dude. And I remember 40 saying, just say something on the record. And I was like, what you mean just say something? He said, I got this little part where I would say,
what's the definition of a lick?
Packing Boosie's chips.
Hey, put that on something.
I put that on the click.
What's the definition of a lick? He said, then a nigga say taking a nigga shit. and then a nigga say, I say put that on something. He said, I put that on the click. So that's when he just gave me a little bar, you know. It wasn't, he was like, nigga ain't gonna come after me for them few words. So I think it was me who said, what's the definition of a lick? And then 40 said, taking a nigga shit. And then I come back, I said, now put that on something. And then 40 said, now put that on the click. So that was the first time my voice was on something since I had been out of jail.
Ooh.
And it was on the Dusted and Disgusted record. And I wanted to offer more to that track,
sure.
But at the time, you know, that was what a nigga could offer. Mm-hmm. So, or it was the wise thing to do. Who knows if Jay would have really sued, which I think he would have, you know, and 40 didn't need that. Mm-hmm. You know, his shit was, all his business was A1. So from there, the Tupac shit, the Heavy in the Game song came into play. I remember Pac, this was before he was on Death Row. This was on his Me Against the World album, I think.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah, and he called me and was like, hey, nigga, I'm trying to do some songs with you. I was like, all right, let's fuck with it. So we in the studio, we doing shit. We had hella little shit that we had did that we never put out. So when we did the Heavy in the Game song, I remember he had Ebony Foster came and did that singing on there.
Ooh.
And Ebony came up to the studio and she was singing. I was like, this motherfucking song going. And he was like, you want to get on this one? I was like, hell yeah. So he said, well, write something. So he threw me a pen, you know, I scribbled some shit up. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The two verses that people like the most from me are my two least liked verses by me. And the reason being is the pressure I was under to write them, the time I had to write them, and it just wasn't, I wasn't in my comfort zone. So it wasn't in my, because you know my style is more of a laid back, kind of like slow swing. The Heavy in the Game shit was, you know, certain niggas want to stick to the game, use a trick to the game. Waiting upon your turn, somewhere where you learn. Like that was a different style for me, but that's the way the beat was moving. And then Pac had that high energy verse on there, and then the hook was dope. So I wrote the verse hella fast. I can write quick. I wrote the verse hella fast, and with Pac, this nigga's like, come on, go lay it. So I ran in there and laid it, and when I came out, I listened to it. He was like, nigga, that shit fire. And I'm listening to it, and I heard parts that I could have said different, you know, different energy. I could have put on different words. I was like, let me go back. No, nigga, that shit, leave that shit just like it is. Leave it just like this. Boom, he went and laid the third verse, and boom, and that's how Pac used to work. On to the next. So I remember telling Pac the same story. I said, this nigga Jed, got me under contract, and he said I can't work, and anything that I do, you know, the nigga gonna red flag. He was like, nigga gonna have to sue me, nigga. I want my nigga on my shit. That was Pac's take on it.
Yeah.
Straight up. I mean, it was just that cut and dry, just like that nigga gonna have to sue me. I want my nigga on my shit. I was like, all right, boom, there it was. So that verse came out, because that came out before the 5 on the remix. When niggas heard that,
yeah, you was warm. You was like, this nigga double back.
That's when it started warming up. That's when it started warming up. Then I got the call for the Loonies remix. They was doing the remix. They was all at the studio. I forget who called me.
We used to be in the studio with them a lot, though. We
Yeah.
had Pimps Players, too.
Yeah. Well, see, the Loonies, me and the Loonies, yeah, we had a relationship through CNH. My nigga CNH, and, you know, Short and Ted, and CNH was homies, and Yuck and Numb. Them niggas was like the new little niggas from the town who was killing it, you know. So back then, the town, we was all together. You know what I mean? So I would hear them niggas and be telling them niggas like Drew Down was doing shit. Drew had the Pimp of the Year record. Like everybody was fucking with everybody, you know, especially East Oakland niggas. So I remember telling the Loonies like, you niggas is up next. You feel me? You niggas got some dope shit, you know. So they was like, man, we want to get you on something. We want to get you on something. And I was like, well, shit, we'll do whatever. So they called me for the remix. They was like, call Rich. Get Rich on the remix. So I remember coming to the studio, and 40 had a garbage can up there, like a real full, like garbage can full of Hurricane, my nigga. They had put a monster mix together. I mean, so much Hurricane in there. And anybody who know Earl, like when you go to record with 40, it's gonna be some drinking going on, you know. So they had this big ass garbage can of Hurricane, and niggas was up there writing verses and fucking with it. It was hella niggas in the studio. I got there late as usual because I'm trapping. You know what I mean? And I'm my first order of service is to the street. You know, niggas is telling me to come get on this record, and I'm coming, but nigga, these ounces is moving too. You know what I mean? Yeah. They moving, and I'm moving them. So by the time I got there, they was like, nigga, we already done, nigga. You got a verse, I mean, I was like, yeah, I got something. I said, y'all already laid y'all shit? They was like, yeah, everybody laid their shit. I mean, Yuck was like, you could put your shit wherever, but I mean, you gotta hurry up. I was like, all right. So they start playing the beat, and then they played that beat. That motherfucker said, doo-doo-doo. I was like, oh, this is it. I mean, I've always been a fan of that. You know, Timex Social Club, the rumor shit was, that shit was it. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, I gotta come up with something slick. So niggas in there drinking, we smoking, we vibing, I'm talking.
So the original song hadn't even won yet.
No.
They was doing a remix before it even won.
Yeah.
They knew it was the single.
Yeah, they knew it was the single.
Yeah, okay.
Well, see, that was the boy, that new tribe, Eric something.
Eric Wright.
It wasn't Eric Wright,
No,
Eric
yeah.
something. He used to be like, he was smooth like that. He used to be like, we're gonna do the single and then the remix. So I got in there, I start drinking and smoking, and I'm trying to figure out something to come up with. So instantly, like I tell you, I'm trapping. The song is 5 on it. I'm a D-boy. I'm in my hustle mode. So I'm like, fuck it. I gotta come with something that's gonna be clean. So niggas, anybody who from Oakland to tell you, the 10 sack is the most infamous sack of weed. 10 sack. It used to be nickel sacks, but it moved up to the 10 sack. 5 sacks was a little, you know, back in the day. So the 10 sacks, that's what niggas used to sell. Dime sacks of Endo, you know. So that's where I said, okay, I'll open my shit up. So I'm like, fuck it, we gonna go half on something. So put your fee with my fin. You know, put your $5 with my $5. And we gonna get in the car and we gonna hit some corners till we find us a right sack.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
Now I'm the sack man. But in my mind, I'm trying to paint a picture and tell a story of what we're gonna do. So like niggas shoot dice out here, nigga let you know, nigga roll a 5, and nigga let you know fever in the funk house. Nigga, you know, fever in the funk house. So the 5 is the fever. You feel me? That's fever in the funk house, the fin. You feel me? Bet I fin. You know what I mean? Straight up. The fever and the fin, that stand for 5.
Yeah.
So put your fever with my fin, mean put your 5 with my 5, and best believe we'll be in. You feel me? More corners than you thought, nigga, till something right is bought. So that's like, nigga, put your 5 with my 5. We gonna get in this car. We gonna, nigga, if we got to hit the red fence, nigga, if we got to get down here hit the dirty people. If we got to go to Sabrani and fuck with Twin and them, you know, we gonna turn a many a corners to get this right side.
Richie Rich might walk a country mile.
You feel me? Blow it all the way long with dreams of pulling bones, writing bomb songs, buzzing with my cousin at the villa, stressing off a pillow. But yeah, so that's how that came about. So I'm like, okay, I wrote that. Put your feed with my fan. Best believe we'll be in. On Cornerstein, you thought to something right as part. And then now I get into character. Moses X, believe that. Token.
Yeah.
Where you from? Oakland. Smoking. Now,
in
in attempts, we smoking. In attempts to crack the chest plate. We smoking so hard we want a nigga to have chest pain.
Right.
You feel me? In attempts to crack the chest plate. That's what we doing. We fixing to get so high to where we crack a nigga chest plate.
Yeah.
Right? And then the nigga say, the zips be so fluffy, the whole town love me. Now that's a real love. My ounces, I had the fluffiest zips. And any niggas that tell you, Rich, we had this weed, we used to call it the Crunch Nasty. It was just light green and just big. Like a sandwich bag, you couldn't even get the flap over it. Niggas used to be like, man, you got some of them pillows? I'd be like, hell yeah, how many of them you want? 3 of them. I was reaching my backpack, whoop, whoop, whoop. So I'm really serving these. So I'm like, the zips be so fluffy, the whole town love me. Moses X, believe that. Token. Where you from? Oakland. Smoking. The emphasis that I put on the where you from? Oakland. That was my effort to try to make my verse sound like it was something, because I was so upset with it. So I tried to cheat and use my raspy. That was my effort. I try to sexy it. You know what I mean? Because I try to sexy it up. You feel me? That was my thing. Like, where you from? Where you from? Oakland. Smoke like some Barry White ass shit. Like, let me put some honey on this shit, because I didn't really like the verse.
Right.
So, bam, I put it down. My niggas like, nigga, that shit clean. Boom, boom. So boom, we recorded. Nobody in the studio when we did it was like, Rich, your verse go, your shit the hardest. I honestly, it was between Yuck, because Yuck had been just phenomenal he was one of the hardest rapping niggas to ever come out of here to me. He still is, just bar for bar, like just nobody could out rap Yucky. Like he just, so when I was listening to his verse, I was like, Yuck stole the show, right? And then I was like, I don't know, but Shock G's little shit was kind of smooth to me too. I was like, I said Shock kind of clean too, right? And then even Earl verse was clean to me.
Like, your trade may so bad. 40 makes it happen.
Fosgate slapping.
Just a little bit of like flame posting. You know, potent fumes, leering, mighty clouds of molten white. You feel me?
Right.
Disrespecting Victor Barry, you be violating my civil rights.